Here we go. I just have to turn that off. I'm sorry, Rodrigo. Hey, my name is Pablo Arias with the International Relocation Partner. And right next with me, as you guys can see in the other camera, I have Rodrigo Sagastegui. Correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, please. Because I'm horrible at this, and in every single recording, I'm always apologizing about my ability to pronounce last name.
I said the last one. It's
Sylvia.
Sylvia. Yeah.
I just did it.
I would have been confused myself. Don't worry. And my last name is not easy. So, but thank you for that.
So today we want to have an interesting conversation. Rodrigo, actually, he runs a Facebook group, and this is being broadcast to our Facebook group in Costa Rica.
Great.
This Facebook group is called theexpatcommunity.com. So for everyone who is watching, today we are interviewing the founder of one of the largest expat groups I have found in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen. And I have a few questions, but I'm really concerned about, a lot of the issues with having community of strangers just connecting online. So, but before we go into that, Rodrigo, just tell us a little bit of who you are, and then let's go into why having an extra group. There's a lot of meetings. I'm having to manage one.
It takes some. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. This is amazing. I love to have the capacity to communicate with you because I know your background, and it's very appealing to me to be able to have this conversation with people with a very similar mindset as mine. Expat is what's an idea. It didn't start initially as Expat. It started in Mexico City when I was briefly visiting my mom and helping her to set up something. I saw an opportunity to work with exchange students that were coming to the University of Monterrey, Tec de Monterrey in Mexico City, and they have around 100 students that come every 6 months. So I was coming from the touristic background, Playa del Carmen, so I found a little gap in between the problematics of the university leading the groups. So I got involved. I muscled my way in, and it finally worked. And I started renting some bedrooms in my house, and I sublet some houses, and I ended up with 35 rooms. Then planning all the trips and all of that. It was a beautiful process, which at that time was called culture housing. And when I came back to Playa, I tried to use the same system, but it didn't work because obviously students and the community of expats are completely different markets. So I had to adapt and adjust through a period of time. There was a catalyzer that actually helped me to try to push it. I'll tell you eventually. But I switched the name, knowing that what was working in Playa was the expat communities. The reality is that I've been very focused on the image of Mexico. I think we've been in a very complicated situation for many decades. In general, I think a lot of people go through, in their own countries, through a lot of processes. But Mexico has been in the eye of the world because of multiple situations, and the negativity has always surpassed the positive because media manage their ways to their convenience. So I decided to do something and try to be a little bit more helpful with the people that was coming here to understand certain aspects of the area, try to connect, make meetups, and that way myself, grow a little bit with the community that was making Playa enhance.
So for anybody that is new, that listening to this broadcast, we are talking to Rodrigo. Rodrigo runs a large expat group in Mexico, and I think we can all learn a lot. Our group in Costa Rica is big. One of the things that I really admire for his work in this expat group is that they do these meetups. Like they get together I don't know how often.
Now we're on Friday.
Every Friday, there is a meetup with other expats just trying to get together, meet new people, have fun, get a beer, whatever, right? So it's very interesting, your journey. And what do you think, make this group to grow so quick? For how long have you had it? Maybe a couple of years?
I had this group for 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, but I keep erasing people. That's that's the thing. So I have a large group of people divided in 3 groups because I have divided them now. I understood immediately once I was making some movements inside of the events that the audience was changing rapidly into different type of groups. Now we have digital nomads, we have investors, we have expats. Not everybody wants to have the same name. They don't want to be recognized equally. So I divided the groups in different in different formats, and that way it started moving easier and better for myself and also for other people to be able to be more in tune with the things that we're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, some people would identify better with a particular name tag. Or, yeah, digital numbers are not the same
No.
as the retirees.
Yeah.
You know, in their 60s looking to retire. So, yeah,
Completely. We're in the 2024. Everybody wants to tag themselves in a different way. We're just talking about that. We're having some great tackles, by the way. So yeah, it's really hard to try to have the same group for everyone. We have different necessities. So I check constantly in my community and I can see multiple things, such as like, oh, these people hasn't been active, or I know some people because I happen to know a lot of the people in my community. And I just keep getting them out of the community if they're not active. They're no longer living here. It's easier to manage a group that is completely packed with people that is living in the area than letting everyone in. You can have the people that is exploring because they really want to come, but a lot of them don't really make it, right? A lot of groups like to have those numbers because it looks amazing to have those numbers,
Yeah.
but effectively for the
So
business.
by the way, we may have to keep 15,000 people.
Well, sometimes happens, and you get to have a lot of brands, right, as well, that want some interaction with your audiences, and sometimes those brands are not tailored for certain communities. So there's no way for them to get inside and just want to see what they can get. So I'd rather have them as a person than as a business. So I also remove that. I think I do a cleaning every 3 months to 5 months if I have the time.
That's a good idea. I even never thought about it.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Now, the reason of this particular interview is I want to let people know, we're having fun talking. We ask questions about who is a good immigration attorney, who is a good real estate agent. We may not make all these questions, or maybe you potentially have an issue at the airport, you need help, and that's okay. But I also realize there is a huge risk with providing your name and your information in a platform that has got 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people. You don't know who you're talking to. Can you walk me through some of that?
Well, yes, unfortunately, the process is slow and it's very hard to solve once something gets to happen. There's no guarantees on any of the services that are being sold on groups. You get to have certain kind of people with reputation. We have our most top famous lawyers, right? For the immigration services or for the real estate, you get to know who is who. The problem, I believe, is that the situation right now with the economy, with first world countries not being in the position they were before, has pushed people to try to look for themselves options because everything seems to be very expensive these days. And that's unfortunate because they end up looking for the friend of the friend of the friend that maybe doesn't have all the answers or the real capacity to make something happen, and even worse, they turn out to be.
But basically, what you're saying, don't be cheap. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
You can just shoot me, right? Shoot me. Like a lot of people will say, okay, I'm looking for this service. This is $2,000 worth of service. And then you're just Googling, researching, and just scraping for somebody that charge $500.
yes. I understand the situation because obviously, I as a Mexican, I'm experiencing the cost of things being increased highly and very complicated. So I understand that some people are coming with the idea that they're going to spend less money than they would be spending in their countries. However, the cheap things turn out to be very expensive in the end, the majority of the time. We know that there are solutions, and some of them shouldn't be as expensive as they are, and that is the truth. But it's very rare that you get to find the people that is going to give you the price that they require for the services they're giving these days, because the demand of the service has given them the power to ask for the prices, but also maybe it's their work, right? To that gives them that capacity to charge. So I'm pro try to keep the things with the people's economy these days, like be more friendly, be kinder if possible. But I don't know. I think this is something that is extremely complicated to deal with. However, yes, if you have the money and you can afford a service that is already guaranteed through multiple people that you're gonna get what you require, don't even think twice. Or go to people that have the right information, people like yourself, people like myself, that I potentially know a lot of people that are not active constantly in the groups posting, or they don't have the resources to be able to post constantly, but I know they give extremely good service and quality to my clients, but they will have to come through me too, so I can actually redirect them.
Okay, I'm gonna make a little commercial here.
Yeah.
Rodrigo, I just sent you the link for this live. You might want to share that with your group. In the meantime, I'll be doing a little commercial. So what we're talking here in this interview is what are some of the risks of being part of an expat group, a Facebook expat group. I do know and notice there could be people scamming. There could be people, somebody may be renting an Airbnb, and it happens a lot. I've seen it a lot. A year ago in Nicaragua, one of my friends, she runs a property management company, and she rents apartments. It's one of the services they do. So people would just go and copy all of the information for an apartment. They just go copy pictures, copy everything, make a little listing. I'm renting this apartment, just put half price.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's $100 a night. Only $40 a night, and then share that in the extra group. Yes, if you book directly, here we go. We give you a deal. When is your dates? Oh, I don't know. I think I got those days busy. Okay, for those days, I can give you this. It's such a good deal, right? It's like you're making your dream vacation for like half of the price.
Okay.
People show up at the property and nobody is there. Like things like that could happen.
Yeah, it's a very common thing to see in Riviera Maya. Most people think that not only vacations, I have seen this in the long-term rent lately. We have a group, maybe, I don't know if you have this, all the admins of the Riviera Maya, actually now the Yucatan, we are in contact. We have our own group of admins that has all this group of people together. So all the admins from Yucatan, from Merida, Quintana Roo, the whole state, we're all together. And we talk to each other. And we send alerts of scammers to the people that we recognize as being scamming people. So
That's
we
a good
get
idea.
an alert, and we get to arrest the people directly. We have identified the same ones, that we know who they are, how they get to work. But yeah, it's a very common thing to see here as well. So I would say that when it comes to renting for vacation, yeah, in vacational services, I think the best way to do it is never get outside of the platforms. I know you're gonna spend a little bit more money, but in this very same building, I've seen people that comes out with a reservation that does not exist.
Yeah. I seen it in Nicaragua. I hear about it in Costa Rica. It happens here in Playa del Carmen. You may make a reservation thinking that you're saving money. You're not saving money. So those are the risks of just these groups. At the end of the day, in our group in Costa Rica, 29,000 people, whatever, you don't know who's these people. Like, you don't even know. And the only way I think we could improve on that is doing meetups. So you get to know in person who you're going to be dealing with. That's the only way. I thought about different things, and it's impossible to get everybody in the same room anyway. But
You will have to invest in a very complicated system for it to work properly for everyone. And with all these platforms, I think it would be easier for people to just go to an Airbnb or Expedia or any of those things, right? I mean, the price is definitely not the best one, but it's potentially.
there is another one, but that's just with a reservation.
Yeah, just as an example. We have in Playa a lot of companies that actually do the service, but it's really hard to know who they are because they do exist. They are legal, but what they do sometimes, it's not legal. They get to charge you one or two deposits. They keep one, they give you one back. There's many ways to play with this. So when it comes to a vacation, just my advice would be go straight to what gives you the most comfort, and you're sure you're going to be getting what you're paying for. We know that Airbnb has commission sometimes, and other companies, but less than just trying to just put your money.
You know what happened? I mean, here in Playa del Carmen, I have different things happen to me. Not in the extra group, but I have many things like getting a cab out of Cancun Airport.
Yeah.
It's twice as much money. getting money out of an ATM in Fifth Avenue, which is the most popular avenue here in is like the fee is like twice as much money to get cash out of the ATM on Fifth Avenue than just maybe 3 blocks away.
Yeah,
Things like that.
it's just the fact that people can't, they rely on the fear factor. If people walk on the Fifth Avenue, uh, they do it because they feel safe, because it's a touristic area, but we still have groups of people that believe that all Mexico is entirely dangerous. I agree, there's very complicated areas in every single part of Mexico, but it's not like Mexico is just, if you get out of that way, everything is going to be completely different, right? So there are areas where you don't want to walk in, but the majority of the Playa del Carmen, 1, 2, 3 blocks, they're actually still safe.
Yeah, this place is amazing. I really like that. We're not here to talk about Plata. Let's go back to the group thing.
Yeah.
I have another one. Have you ever had this 23-year-old gorgeous girl text to you, hey Jason, how are you? Good stuff. Hey Jason, ask me this. You can comment on this. Have you ever had this gorgeous girl text to you through Facebook out of these expat groups? Hey Jason, how are you? I'd like to meet you. I'm single. I mean, here I am, 42 years old, this 23, whatever girl, chick, hot chick. Let's be honest. Yeah, she's not gonna hit on me, right? Like 45 to 55, middle age, grown men. You're not gonna get this 25-year-old blonde, gorgeous girls to hit on you. So if it's too good to be true,
Yes.
probably because it's too good to be true, right? So I think it happens a lot. I guess I'm very, social. I'm like in Instagram, Facebook, using my media. I don't have a big following, but I'm sharing everything all the time. And a lot of people, at least in Costa Rica, I feel like a lot of people know what I do. I get hit all the time. Hey, honey, how are you? Or there's another famous one. Hey, I got this funds that I inherit. For $500,000 and they need somebody to trust with this money.
Yeah.
Things like that, man. That's just so silly things.
I've seen some other formats that are way more simple. And well, the format is the same. The pretty girl coming to a city, she doesn't speak Spanish, of course, and she starts making meetups for Bitcoin, for example. And they try to tell you, because obviously you're attracted to, because we're men, sometimes we should be better at this. You get attracted and you go to the meetup and they tell you, yeah, it's just a small investment for this and that. I'm an expat, I've been doing this all over the world. But there's not really a way you check this background, right? So my only advice for people is like, wait, and try to get as much information as you can from the area, make some research, ask questions in the forums of the other groups. You might be able to get it because we do talk. In places like my group, we do talk it, like, hey, warning for this, warning for that. If you start searching for the names or the description of the people, you might be able to find something. There's always a solution. Always be patient. You cannot just think that almost every scam has a formula, right? Just like everything. And one of them is time.
Yeah.
You have to take advantage of this right now.
This fear of loss. Like you have this great opportunity, but you have to buy right now.
Like right now, yeah. And it's a clear factor of losing that opportunity, of course, but they play perfectly with that. And a person that is coming from another country with some extra money because they're saving, or they have actually a really good economy in general. They say, okay, this is an opportunity. This girl seems to be nice. I'm seeing her. They just disappear in 2 weeks after. No, so
I haven't had that much issues with crypto, I guess, or with investments, but I would not let anybody advertise crypto investments. I don't think it's a good idea. It's just my personal.
yeah, it's you have to be careful with the people. You have to know who they are. I've seen groups of crypto growing as close, and that's fine. I know them. I know who they are and how they got it. So I think it's fine.
Any other stuff you feel people should be aware of and figure out?
Wow. We spoke about this briefly. The knowledgeable people. There's
That's a good one.
there's a lot of people that believe that they know the places better than the local people, just because they made friends with someone, they speak the language with slang, or They barely speak the language sometimes, and unfortunately, they get to be too friendly or too naive, and they think that everybody's their friends, and now they know it all because they know a couple of taco stands or something, and they redirect people. And sometimes they think they know things more than people. And as a local, I can tell you that I've been giving some advice for people where to go and not to go. It's part of my responsibility as a group admin. And there's always a Mr. Know-it-all that says like, oh, I've been in that place, it's completely safe. I work there with my friends every single night. 3, 4 months pass by, and then this person is like, hey, I can't go out to this area or this pass. So if you're listening to the local people and they're telling you, watch it, there's something there at this time, or this is a place that you should not be going, or this is a business that you should not get into, just listen to them. The locals know.
Yeah. I think also something that happens with the expert groups is people forget that this is all just opinions,
Awesome.
right? This is just opinion. So it happens in my industry. So I do shipping. Somebody asks, hey, what is the best thing for me to ship a container to another country? And then you have maybe 10 people. I usually get a lot of referrals, like people like, hey, maybe 3 or 4 times talk to Paul or whatever. I get that a lot. But you also get a lot of people, yeah, I did my shipment 20 years ago. It cost me $2,000 and I loaded everything with food and wine and my vitamins and everything she shouldn't bring, right?
Yeah.
So it's somebody who made this 10 years ago that did it all wrong is commenting like he knows the truth about international shipping. And it's just not true. There's a big difference between someone's opinion, and it could be in immigration, it could be about driving, it could be about local taxes, it could be about anything, right? This goes to everything. Someone that has one experience that they maybe built a little shack, you know, like maybe put $5,000 in a little shack and whatever. And then now he knows how to build a high rise building. Now he knows. So don't forget, this is just opinions. The expert groups are just a support for you to get the feeling of what it would be, to get some ideas, but do not take any advice on these groups as legal advice. Do not believe that's the whole and complete truth. Just be careful. Always talk to an expert and look. I always say, look for the like somebody who's got operational knowledge of the day to day on that particular industry or business.
Yeah.
It's a difference. I do 150 containers a year.
Yeah.
I have something to say. Somebody did it 20 years ago once. I don't think that's a good advice.
Yeah, and as a networker, which is exactly what I am, I would never dare to actually give my personal opinion on specific things that I don't know about. Just because a big group of people are talking about it in a positive way. If I have a client that I have to refer to something, I have to make sure that this group works. And I would approach people like yourself before I get to give my opinion into something. Like, listen, I don't know about the business, but I can connect you with the person that actually do it.
Better.
It's the way I do it. However, there's always a factor that is very important to talk about, and that's friendship. A lot of the expat communities combat themselves. They make connections with people, and that part is a little bit rough when it comes to businesses because they make friends like, oh, I have a friend that has been helping me with this.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so I'm gonna listen to this person. But once you get to check the background or you get to find out the person has never really done that as a professional and a professional level, they've been doing this or that service on the side because they have an idea of how to manage certain things, but they most likely don't know all the answers. And that's another factor that you're like, okay, you should go with my friend. I believe that we're here to make relationships and friends, and we should believe everyone, but before you get to recommend someone, make sure that the person is 100% in control of what they get to do before you get to hit someone else in problems with someone else.
So let's say that straight out the way you should, I guess. You don't have to recommend your friends just because they're your friends. It would be a disservice if I'm making that work. It could be, you could be damaging somebody just because you're recommending somebody. If you're going to recommend somebody, just if it's your experience, you use that company, yes, recommend that person. At least you have to be able to say, oh, I use this immigration firm, they were great. Or you can say, well, I use this immigration firm, I wasn't 100% happy. That could be just fine.
It's very important. This is something that I, as a Mexican, have to be very careful with because obviously we have a reputation to take care of, and having my moral compass on the right way has been complicated because I always try to help friends. Of course, there's this cultural aspect within me, but I'm gonna tell you something. There's a car service that picks up people at the airport that I do recommend. I don't like the owner at all. It's someone I do not resonate with. Well, we spoke briefly a couple times on the phone, and he's not the type of person I can, you know, talk to properly. But by far, he has the best service in town. And I rather, like recommend a person like that before my reputation gets to go down with the service of a friend of mine that has been, I know they come late, they don't have the best units. And I love him to death. And I would recommend him to someone that's really close, like my mom, my brother's like, okay, he's going to help us because we don't want to pay that much. But I know that this is a problem between me and my family. If it's a client or it's someone that actually requires the service, I would never recommend this specific friend. I'd rather just go and tell like, I don't like that person.
This is the best company,
that
actually.
guy, my guy, professional, 100%. So go and take us risks.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's even like we have a different way of doing business. Like I do have my company, it's got a different way of doing business completely. And some people will not resonate with the way we do business because basically we are not looking for to get every client. We want to pick and choose our clients.
Which is very important.
That's not, a lot of people don't understand. They just keep on thinking, oh, the customer is always right. And that's a good narrative to have when you're treating customer service employees. But when you're running a business and you're scaling this business, at least for my business, I'm picking and choosing who is the customer who I want to serve. And a lot of people will say like, Paul, why are you too busy to talk to me? We have a process because what I do is a lot of legal things. There's a lot of legal things. You can lose your container. You can get fines. You can get the port to charge you. Storage fees. They're like nightmares. It could be $10,000 worth of storage fees out of a port if you don't know what you're doing. So I want to pick and choose the customer who's been willing to listen to our consultation and get themselves informed about you shouldn't be do this, you have to have this, don't bring new items, don't do this. So when they spend the time, at least 10, 20 minutes, understanding what is it going to take legally to import the shipping, that's a customer who I want to serve because when I'm servicing this customer, he knows exactly what I need. He is prepared. His expectations are set.
Yeah.
So we get just last year, we have over 5,000 people visit our website for appointment setting site. We offer this for free consultations.
Yeah.
Book the appointment. Only 20% of those book the appointment. Out of 5,000, we have a little over 1,000 that book the appointment.
Yeah.
So that tells me that a lot of people may not resonate with that. They just want to have somebody to sweet talk to their ears. Yes, we can do it quick. But you're playing a very risky and dangerous field because just doing business abroad, dealing with all these legalities, and just using whatever service provider that is willing to talk to you anytime you want, at Saturday or Sunday or anytime, that could be a scam. They don't have employees to pay overtime, right? Like we have business hours, we have an infrastructure, we have a proper website, we have all these things. And if I have my employees work 24/7, I have to pay them twice as much.
Yeah.
So it's a business thing that we decided to. This is the way we do business. We structure this way. That way, each customer gets this 30 minutes to an hour consultation. Then they get all the full disclosure, really big letters of what things they should or should not do. And then we go into, if you want to move forward, then this is how much. So it's a professional way of doing business. Just like if you walk into your doctor's office, you have to set an appointment. If you work into a good law firm, you have to set that appointment. And we have the reputation to pick and choose our customer.
That's basically the end of it. A lot of businesses can, and honestly, I think a lot of businesses can afford to do the same format. Like, yeah, we're going to take anyone. The reality is that there are some businesses like this, and mine as well. I learned this through the timeshare sorry for those that I don't like the answer that I worked at. But something that I learned is how they filter the clients that actually are going to take a tour to go and talk with the agent that's going to be able to present the whole system. It's because they want credible people that actually is going to buy and be a potential client for the ones that just want to come and eat for free.
Yeah.
So the system is it's clear for different kind of businesses. In your case, in my case, I'd rather have just 10 clients calling me the whole year than having 35 that are going to keep using my time and making not even the process, so I can actually have those 10 people that are actually doing the one that I require for my business to grow.
Yeah.
It's part of the, you get to learn this with time, of course.
And I do it mainly because before I would just take any customer and say, this is this much, and they end up just loading the container with things that they couldn't ship because it's not legal to import. And then they end up saying, nobody told me. Even if I sent a contract with everything in writing, nobody told them. So there is, anyway, businesses are different, but what we're trying to say is you may have a service provider that is the most professional one, and just use that. I mean, or just at least take a look at the professional option. And if it doesn't resonate with you in your particular case, you can look for other options, but there is risk of unprofessional service provider.
Absolutely. And the expert groups are fantastic for information in general, for recommendations, and I think that's it. That's the word, recommendations. But it's not like you're giving the truth on everything. Like, this is the best taco place in the case of Mexico, for example. This is the best one. I recommend you to go and try these ones because to me, they're actually one of the best ones in town. But when people take that information as like it's granted, they actually have problems between them. When I went to this place, it wasn't as cheap as.
Yeah, it's just opinions.
So imagine that, but now on a business level, when you get to have all this
It was
information.
a $10,000 ticket. Like my shipping services is $10,000 shipments, $20,000 shipments.
Yeah.
On buying a property, what's the best condominium with the best property, whatever. It could be a $200,000 investment, and then you purchase into something, and then you look around, and in fact, there is something else better, with better view, with less somewhere else. So it's just opinions. It's just for you to get an idea of what's the market and what people think, but just don't take it as written in stone. Don't take it as.
Yeah, certain secrets already certain. Like it's not the whole truth.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo. It's been 33 minutes.
Wow.
We hope you guys have get a lot of insight about these conversations. Like I said, Rodrigo has got a lot of experience managing his group over a decade now. We're learning a lot. We're trying to do a lot of nice and great and exciting things in Costa Rica with our next group, and I think we can learn from him. By the way, if somebody made it this far, please put in the comments if you have seen any potential scam. We would love to know. Thank you so much. Bye bye. And we end up.
That's nice.